Jai Mohanji, everyone. Welcome. Sorry, we had to shift this because we had a satsang with Mohanji yesterday. So we shifted it to Tuesday today. So welcome all of you. And those of you who are joining on YouTube and who are planning to watch it later, don't miss this particular episode because we have a very special guest. As you all know, it's Mohana Hanumatananda. He's actually the most, longest standing connection with Mohanji, I would say. I think was it 2011, Hanubai?
10, 2010.
2010. So
Yeah.
he has been there with Mohanji like a pillar, and I'm not going to talk much. He's going to introduce his book and read, and we can always ask him questions. So over to you, Hanubai.
Thank you. Thank you, Rekhaji. Thank you for your invitation. I always try to really accept all these kinds of invitations where I can share a bit of my experiences with Mohanji, and I've noticed it's all circulating about in about how long I've been with Mohanji and how I met him and all these experiences. But last year I wrote a book where this book, Grace of Protection, and where I put like maybe 80% more experiences which I've never shared with anyone. So hope that you can find the book on Gurulite on Amazon, and hopefully you can read more experiences. And I hope to share some experiences from the book today. I can read one particular chapter which is about volunteering, and I can share my experiences, which are plenty because, as you said, I met Mohanji 2010 when he actually was pretty much not known in the world. And in my country, especially, nobody knew about him. And I was starting everything from scratch, from the beginnings when I just translated blogs. Back at that time, there was no videos. There were just a couple of videos on YouTube, which were very bad quality. There was no audio. So when I was reading Mohanji's blogs, I never knew what his voice was. So when I was reading, I was just connecting directly. And then when I met Mohanji, the first time when I met Mohanji, I was surprised how short he was. I was thinking he was big, I was always imagining that he was like two heads above me. So when I saw him, the first impression was, he's really like like a friend, like my friend who I never met like for a lifetime. So yeah, there's many things I can share. Maybe I can start with a chapter from this book about volunteering, and then maybe you can ask me questions and any specific things you want to hear from me. So this chapter is called The Art of Saying Yes. In April 2010, I received my first ever Shaktipat from Mohanji in Belgrade, Serbia. It was also my first time meeting Mohanji in person. After the Shaktipat, his only words to me were, just stay connected. That directive became my guiding principle, my sadhana, a daily practice to maintain that connection. One day I watched a video on the internet where Mohanji Foundation volunteers shared their experiences, and Devi Mohan spoke about building an ashram in India, emphasizing that everyone could contribute with their talents, no matter how small. This resonated deeply with me. I sought tangible ways to stay connected. Out of gratitude for what Mohanji had given me, I felt compelled to give something back. Being a graphic designer, I realized I could offer my skills. I approached Devi and expressed my desire to help. Immediately, there were tasks to be done, like designing a logo for the ACT Foundation. Saying yes felt natural. I discovered that by sharing my skills for the Mohanji Foundation and other platforms Mohanji provided, I found a direct way to stay connected. Volunteering became my sadhana, an active way to connect with Mohanji. You can sit in a remote corner of the world and think you're connected, but that's just a thought, maybe even a fantasy. However, when you're actively creating something for the platforms Mohanji created, the connection is undeniable. To design a beautiful flyer, you must connect to Mohanji's consciousness, his energy, and that creates a real, tangible bridge. I quickly realized that volunteering my skills facilitated a deep connection with Mohanji. In my country, where Mohanji was unknown at the time, I started conducting meditations, translating blogs, and doing whatever I could to spread his message. I was constantly seeking new ways to connect through service. Volunteering became my sadhana. In essence, it evolved into my spiritual practice. When you say yes to service and commit to it, comfort zones are inevitably challenged. Mohanji often presents you with tasks that seem beyond your capacity, pushing you to grow. Saying yes repeatedly leads to transformation and expands your capabilities. Instead of shrinking away, I learned to say yes and organize my life around service. Burnout is a potential pitfall, but I learned to surrender overwhelming tasks to Mohanji. I'd simply say, Mohanji, this is beyond me. Please take care of it. Immediately, a lightness would descend, making the tasks manageable. It's all about giving your best and leaving the rest at your guru's feet. People often ask about the right attitude towards volunteering. From my experience, it's about saying yes to growth. When service becomes your sadhana, you find ways to accomplish tasks. Communication with other volunteers is also crucial. I aim to remember that Mohanji is always energetically present. You, how can I speak or act unkindly when he is watching so closely? Kindness and service become your guiding principles. You know, I've worked with many volunteers and I've noticed a pattern. There are those who approach tasks with a sense of ego, a look at me attitude. But that's not the way. The right attitude, I believe, is to say yes because you want to grow. If volunteering becomes your sadhana, your spiritual practice, then saying no isn't an option. You say yes and then you find a way to accomplish the task. This expands your capacity for doing larger tasks multifold. And when it comes to communication with other team members, I always think of it this way. Mohanji is sitting right next to me. He's always there watching. So how would I speak to this person? Would I shout? Would I lie? Would I manipulate? Would I say anything bad? Never. So when a fellow volunteer treats you poorly or communicates wrongly, it's because they are not aware of Mohanji's presence. He's always there watching. That's why I always say yes, try to be kind, and help whenever I can. Someone once asked me how I balance volunteering with family life. After all, I'm a family man with a wife and 3 children. It's a valid question, especially when I say yes so often. My answer is simple. When I say yes to Mohanji, he takes care of everything. It's like a divine exchange, in a way. If I have a family, Mohanji takes care of my family. Because I have a family life, I need to find a way to give love to my wife and children to ensure I'm not neglecting them. In those moments, Mohanji gives me the energy to be loving and present. Even if it's just for half an hour a day, I concentrate fully on my children, giving them something of myself. It's important that they don't feel left out, that I'm only focused on volunteering. They can feel it if I'm neglecting them. Going through tough times and maintaining stability is crucial. I remember in 2016 at the Kailash Parikrama, Mohanji told me the next few years would be challenging for me. At that moment, walking beside Mohanji in the Himalayas, feeling on top of the world, I couldn't comprehend fully what he meant. But when I returned home, challenges arose, one after another. During those times, I remembered his words, just hold the feet of Shiva. He didn't say, hold my feet, but he pointed me in the right direction. Mohanji for me is Shiva, so I held on tight to his feet. My mind raced, I experienced dark times, but I held on. There were days when I felt overwhelmed, unable to accomplish anything. I started telling myself to do something small, just one thing. I had been comparing myself to other volunteers who seemed to be doing so much, who were closer physically to Mohanji. I felt inadequate. I realized I needed to stop comparing and focus on doing whatever small thing I could. Doing just a little each day helped. Small steps, big success. Mohanji highly recommends this Kaizen concept to tackle procrastination and tough times. I told myself it was okay if I only managed a small task. Tomorrow, I could do more. Even when I felt anxious, depressed, disconnected at the lowest point, I kept moving. I refused to stop. I maintained momentum, taking small steps. The worst thing I could have done was to stop. If you stop, the negative thoughts become stronger and you risk falling away entirely. I kept telling myself to keep moving, no matter how small the steps. There are many traps on the volunteering path, and it's good to be aware of them and stay on the right track. When you start volunteering, you connect to Mohanji's energy and you feel this power within you, like you can move mountains and do anything. Mohanji charges you with energy and power to do even more. But the trap is you can start to feel like the power is yours, not from the source, from Mohanji. You might think, look at me, how great a volunteer I am. I deserve Mohanji's love. The ego is very sneaky. Another trap is losing vision, forgetting why you started volunteering. For me, it was to stay connected with Mohanji. If I lose that vision, I deviate from the path. And of course, there's procrastination, putting things off until tomorrow. I aim to never do that. If something is for tomorrow, I schedule it. The healing for these traps is humility. We should always remember we are in the dust of Mohanji's feet. If you think you're a great volunteer, you're setting yourself up for a fall. We must remain humble and communicate with kindness, remembering Mohanji is always present. When we feel burnt out or overwhelmed, we need to organize ourselves better and delegate when possible. We should always think about how to organize more effectively, not just how to drop off tasks. Volunteering greatly helped me overcome depression and addiction. If you say yes to volunteering, you don't have time to be depressed. You have so many tasks that you can only be anxious now, laughing out loud. So you try to deal with anxiety by organizing yourself better. You're constantly thinking about how to overcome hurdles, always connected to Mohanji. Scheduling tasks and breaking down bigger tasks into many smaller ones while only focusing on the small task at hand helps a lot. Setting up a timer for 20 minutes to focus on a task and repeating this sharpens the focus and makes us super efficient. To maintain my commitment to this sadhana without burning out, I have adopted a new strategy in recent years. A qualified yes, and by adding a but, I can set a realistic boundaries. For example, yes, I can take this on, but I need a week. This approach allows me to schedule tasks and manage deadlines effectively, preventing the overload that comes with open-ended commitments. Also, given that a significant portion of my volunteering work involves graphic design, I began creating templates and conducting training sessions on their use. Now I simply provide the easy adaptable templates and usage instructions, freeing up my time for other tasks. Through this evolution of my yes, I've discovered a significant increase in my capacity for receiving grace. This experience has taught me that saying no closes doors to growth. Saying yes is an art that cultivates expansion. In 2022, just 2 days after surviving a serious head-on collision, Mohanji joined our volunteer, volunteer Zoom meet for a brief yet powerful 10-minute message. Though still recovering and facing a serious heart issue, he made the effort to speak to us. sharing profound insights on the true meaning and power of volunteering. He began with a light-hearted remark. The main thing is that in the whole bargain, they proved that I have a heart. So that's a big deal. Nobody can say I'm heartless now. You see? Everything has a bright side, right? All things have a positive side. So even the car accident had a positive effect. What followed was a message that left a lasting impact. These were Mohanji's exact words. Volunteering is connected to our interest in doing things without a profit motive. If we have a heart to do things without any expectation, without any benefit, then that's volunteering. Because our heart always wants to do good things in the world, and the benefit is grace. When you do something for the money, the benefit is money. When you do something for the sake of the world, the benefit is grace. So there is income. Income is always there. One is visible, tangible. The other is not tangible. So definitely there is a benefit. There is income. Volunteering is an expression of selflessness. And it is not just volunteering. Volunteering is only one tag. But if you are selfless, you're always a volunteer. If you want to do something good for the world, then volunteering happens and the platform comes. Whether it is our platform or any platform, if you have a heart to serve, to help the helpless, then you will automatically get the grace factor. Grace opens up. The channel of grace opens up, and it's a big deal. The main advantage of selfless action is purification. A huge amount of your purification happens inside. Purification brings clarity. You get more and more clarity about your life, about the purpose of your life, and what is a priority. That's very important. When you have clarity, you know what your life is for, what the purpose of life is, and then you can prioritize things easily. Our usual pattern in life is to follow personal preferences, what instinctively gives us pleasure. Naturally, we are drawn to things that make us feel good. However, in this context, the pleasure is of a higher kind. It is not the ordinary satisfaction of the senses, but a deeper joy, a happiness on a different, elevated level. And grace is something which is almost like a bank balance. When you do lots of work for the world, grace comes in abundance and gets stored in our system, in our bank account. So that helps us during our tough times. The bank balance of grace brings unexpected help, so it's a good investment. Selfless service is a good investment, and it is not a favor. Don't ever think it's a favor, and don't ever do it as that I am better than you. If you feel you are better than anybody, that's ego. That's not selflessness. In selflessness, you should feel grateful that you are able to do it. A good action with gratitude increases the element of grace in your life. And grace automatically opens the doors for you. It gives you tremendous, tremendous momentum in life. And whenever you are going through tough times, there is always help at hand. Volunteering is definitely not a favor. You're neither doing favor to the world, nor is it a favor to you. In fact, it's actually an activity without expectation. It brings in the money called grace, and you're using your time for it. Your expenditure is the time. You use your time for good causes and you gain grace. If you use your time for material benefits, you get materials.
That is so inspiring, Anubhai. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
I think all of us should read your entire book, The Grace of Protection, so that we all know, how it is. Because I have personally worked with him and I know how it has been, the previous day we would want the certificate or we would want the logo and he would very diligently do it. And then when there was time, he would use these words. Yes, I will do it, but I'll give it to you in 3 days or 1 week. It will always be like that. I never forget that. And that is something I think all of us need to learn because many questions have come, Hanubai, that, especially from the NYC also, people ask how to manage time. So,
Mm.
the tips that you gave as from this reading, it will really help people. It's wonderful. Thank you so, so much. Okay, now, first of all, I
Thank
want to,
you.
because you have been with Mohanji from 2010, can you tell us
Yes.
something interesting about Mohanji, your first meeting? I know for most of us, even for me, he felt like he was a friend I had met, long lost friend, just felt so comfortable with him from the moment I set eyes on him. So it's been like that. But what can you say, something we don't know from 2010 onwards?
So I've written a lot of it in the book, and when you ask me what the first thing comes to mind is the first satsang that I was the first physical encounter what I had with Mohanji. So when he entered the satsang hall, when he entered, I just felt that a sun came inside. It was so bright when he came inside, and I knew even before that I met him. I met my master after so many lives, but this is when I felt like I'm home. When he entered the room, I felt like I came home. Finally, came home, and before that, for years, I was exploring different techniques, different masters. I was trying to get to transformation, but just from reading his blogs and meeting him physically, the transformation was there. So I didn't have to do anything specific. I was just sitting next to him, and I was transformed. So this was like from that moment on I stopped reading books. I stopped doing anything else. Just I was just connecting to him. So yeah, there's many things to say, but if you want to hear anything specific, just ask me, please. You or anyone else inside
Yeah, sure.
the Zoom call.
But before I pass on to others, I have one question now that Kailash
Mm.
Yatra is coming up. And you
Yes.
went to Kailash and you really experienced Mohanji as Shiva there. So
Yeah.
what was the shift? How did that shift happen? Although Mohanji told you as you were reading, I was it hit me like how, how does that shift happen? Because so many people, I think more than 200 people are going this time. So just wanted to ask
Mm.
about that. More than 300. 300.
Um, yeah, so the shift actually happened when I came back. When I came back, I started getting so many challenges because even he told me, just hold on to my feet, and that's it. And that's what I was trying to do, because when I came back from Kailash, I was like feeling like I was in a storm all the time, When you say I will go to Kailash and then I will come back transformed, it's not like you will get transformed and you will be happy and shiny. And I was transformed, but I was like hit by a bus all the time.
Oh gosh.
So yeah, so through these kind of experiences, I was being transformed. I was basically chiseled by this energy all the time, and this was going on for many, many years afterwards. So it was not like I went to Kailash and then this beautiful thing happened to me and I was transformed and I was happy afterwards. No. Uh, at least not my experience. It was not my experience. My experience was that while I was being in Kailash, I was feeling blessed because basically we were walking with Mohanji all the time. We were with him all the time, and I felt the blessing all the time. But as soon as I came back home, then the challenges kept coming and coming, and I've written a lot about this in the book. But basically, every day was like a test for me, and then I needed to learn how to stay put and how to hold firmly to his feet, you know? This was the challenge because I was tested. I had so many doubts. I felt so much disconnected from him. So the challenge was how to stay connected even while my mind was in that place, in that dark place, how to stay connected. So this is how I was finding again and again that volunteering was helping me how to stay connected. Um, and yeah, volunteering was just one of the things that was helping me. But yeah, this was my experience from Kailash.
But what were the other things? Yes, volunteering, now that Mohanji has opened up everything, all our platforms to so many new people. It is
Mm,
amazing to see the inspiration and the way people are coming forward, motivated. So it's
mm.
amazing. But besides, yes, volunteering, Mohanji says, is very crucial
But this
for
is not a
any
true thing.
kind of karmic reduction also. But other
No,
than
but
that,
this is not a
anything,
true. You see, this is not the true thing. When someone is inspired, yes, they will volunteer. But when
yeah,
they are not inspired, they go away.
that's it.
They
They
sleep.
go away. Yeah.
Ah. So volunteering should be like a sadhana, you know? It should be
Mm,
24/7. You should
mm,
be volunteer all the time. So
mm,
this is why I say you always say yes, because whatever comes from Mohanji, you take it like that, and then it transforms you. If you volunteer only when you're shiny and happy and you feel like it, that's not a sadhana, you know, you will not get transformed. You will just do things from some time and then that's it. So the true transformation comes only when you approach it with that mindset, you know, this is my sadhana. I will do it whatever it takes. Especially when it gets hard, when it's really you feel like in the fire, especially then.
okay, I'm going to now ask Padmini to join us, and she has a question for you.
Yes.
Hello, Hanubai. Nice to talk to you. And I have to share two things with you. When I was going through the most difficult patches of my time, it was the words which you had shared, do a small task that kept
Mm-hmm.
me going. And it was one of those
Mm-hmm.
days when I needed it, and I was opening the Facebook page. And then I came and I used to read it almost every day just to keep me motivated. So that was something really, how Mohanji connects and he listens to your yearning, and
Mm.
some through your Facebook post, it really helped me. The other thing I wanted to ask is, you said about Kailash. After Kailash, also the dark patch which you went through. How did
Mm.
you manage to hold on to connection when, even when you are feeling disconnected? Because this is another question which comes up, because there are days when you feel, okay, where am I going wrong? Am I supposed to feel anything? Why is this
Mm.
happening? So
Mm-hmm.
you said volunteering also was your heart in it. How did
Mm-hmm.
you manage to break that? Hold on to him despite the disconnection you felt.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that what actually saved me and is also saving me daily is that whenever I was in good periods of my life, whenever I was connected with Mohanji, I was volunteering heavily, and that created some kind of bank balance. I'm writing about that. So when you have that bank balance, then when you're down, then that helps. It's like a small door through which Mohanji is coming and just holding you, you know? And it's important whenever you are good, whenever you are in good times, just volunteer, just be of service, do whatever it takes, because you that way you will have the balance for when you are really down. So I think this was the main point which helped me.
Okay, so we
Thank
have
you.
Sandra also with a question here. Sandra, why don't you ask him?
Mm.
Sandra?
I read your question, Sandra.
Thank
You
you.
want to read it, or you want me to read it, or you will say?
I would love to hear your response, because I can see where your stability and your power comes from in order to handle the challenges that come. And, you know, it's all part of the purging, but I'm just curious. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Okay, so Sandra is asking that I went to Inner Kora and I touched Kailash mountain with a small group of people, and she's asking how was that experience for me. I also write about this experience in the book, but in short, actually one small group separated from us and went to touch Kailash, and then I saw Mohanji sitting on a rock, and I asked Mohanji, we're going, right? And he said, yes, we're going. And when he said, yes, we're going, I was not thinking, I just went. And then because it was a glacier and it was very dangerous, it has like big holes where you can fall and be killed. So a lot of people were shouting at me not to go, but when Mohanji said, yes, we're going, I was like already there. I could see myself touching Kailash. So um, it was like a group of maybe 7 or 8 people that went, maximum 10. And when I approached Kailash, it felt like I'm entering the womb of my mother. That was the feeling. I felt so safe, protected. I was thinking about, okay, Shiva is Kailash, and then he's like fierce. No, he's not fierce. He's actually innocent. He's like a innocent baby. He's like a soft, gentle. That's how Shiva is. At least that's how I felt him. So when I approached Kailash and when I touched the mountain, this is what I felt. I felt so much peace and I felt innocence. Yeah.
I see that's also, I mean, that is such it's a rare experience. I mean, not everyone gets to actually touch the mountain, the energy and the space, and connect with Shiva, the essence of Shiva. And, we all have challenges because there's so much of churning going on in our lives. Whether we go on a pilgrimage or not, there's always a lot being released. But I can see that as a source of your strength, the fact that you're connected to the essence of Shiva, because in my heart of hearts, I feel Mohanji is Shiva. So I just wanted to hear you, say that again. And such a pleasure to know you, Bye. I've known you a long time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sandra.
Very inspiring.
Thank you,
Stay there.
Sandra. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. Pooja? Pooja, be muted.
Yes, Pooja.
For me, the first time I interacted with Hanumatananda was, I don't know whether you remember or not, when you were teaching us canoe, putting on the posters and everything. And the first thing which I remembered after the training was not what he taught me. It was the way he was dealing with all of us and all our silly questions, and the kind of stability I felt that day. So my question to you is, I understand, like you're saying, that we should use our volunteering as a seva. And also, more importantly, you say that because Mohanji empowers us, when we do a lot of seva, we take it as like it's our power. Any practical tip that we should be using and not get that, it in our head that, we are doing it. We all understand we are
Don't
Mohanji's
worry, he will make you understand. He will kick your butt. He will make you understand. Don't worry. Otherwise, you will either be aware of it,
Yes.
or he will kick your butt through other people, and you will understand. So don't worry. In any case, you will understand.
No, but seriously, all of us as volunteers, we get carried away. Not that we,
Of
it
course.
doesn't but that
It's
we just
subtle.
get carried away in that
Yeah, it's subtle.
flow, and we all start
Mm,
taking things for granted and everything. And
yes.
over a period of time, I have been associated with it for a very short time, few years. During COVID, I got connected to. But one thing that I have seen is that all our volunteers like you, people who are really stable, there's a kind of sensibility and a kind of stability that you all project, which as new volunteers we look up to.
Mhm.
So is there another specific sadhana you do, or it's just it comes with time?
No, but always when you say, not only you, but when people say you're so stable, actually inside of me there is complete instability, you know. So it's like Mohanji is always putting the carpet beneath my knees, you know. It's like that, always pulling the carpet beneath my feet, and that's the feeling. So whenever he does that, my yearning is, okay, how to become really stable, you know. So I am always thinking how to be stable. So whatever I do, I'm trying to just, you know, go back, stay connected, go back and be stable. And as some of the people were joking, like chill, that they see me as chill. Actually, inside, there is a battle all the time to be chill. You know, each morning I wake up, I say today I'm gonna be chill. You know, each morning, because inside there is everything but not chill. You know. So basically, Mohanji is doing everything. Whenever you know, surrender, but really surrender, not from the mind, but really surrender, and want to stay connected, he will take care that you will be transformed, you know. And the transformation is not, it's not like, as I said, it's not like, you know, shiny, happy. No, it's like hell.
We all get some
Mm.
of the experiences at different times. It is.
Yeah,
This
but
is
it's a
one thing.
blessing. It's
Yes,
a blessing
it's
to
a
meet.
blessing.
To meet a master who is completely white. Who is completely white. It's a blessing, and it's a struggle to stay connected to him, because I know people who were falling to his feet, saying they will never leave him. They left him. So many people, because with him from 2010. I know so many people. You will not believe what kinds of people left him. And the main thing was they fell into some traps, you know. Either it was like a ownership trap, you know, uh, these subtle traps people fall into. So it's always like you should be. This is what he said to me. You should always be like a bird on a dry branch, sitting like a bird on a dry branch. It can always snap. So you should always be alert and aware. Otherwise, you can easily fall, you know? So it's a daily battle. Yeah.
Learn all of us have to work towards it every day.
It's if it's important to you, then you will fight the battle. If it's like, okay, then what can I say?
That's so true. That's so true, Anu.
Mm,
The daily battle, the challenges, the tests, how we cling on to him, that bird on a dry branch is absolute truth, actually. Okay, before we move further to other questions, we all know about Monji's sense of humor. So you would have experienced it many times, and I know how fond he is of you. We have seen it also, and
mm.
we've also seen the way he, many retreats and things. We have seen the way you interact. So anything that you can share with all of us. Monji's sense of humor is famous. Like everybody will be rolling on the floor laughing. That kind of humor. So any incident that comes to your mind,
Yeah, what kind of incident?
anything, something funny that he spoke to you about.
Something funny? I I can't
Yes.
think of. I can't think of. anything funny at this moment, but I can think of this moment in Bosnia at the pyramids like few years ago when he gave me a task, but then I didn't do it. I just I just told him that someone else can do it, but then in the next moment I realized that I made a mistake, and I write about this in the book. So I remember this instance when I this chance to surf slipped my hands, and I was really struggling when I came back to my country from Bosnian pyramids. Then I needed like a month or two to really gain stability again. I was really destabilized because of this incident.
You had actually shared this in a testimonial also.
Yeah,
You remember, yeah, about the camera and not being there on time to click.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it is there. It is there. And the way Mohanji, in fact, even in our weekly talks, the way Mohanji speaks about it, it's not about just this. He says, about our projects, which we don't move forward at his pace. Like
Mm.
once he mentioned something about I wrote it a century ago, or I recorded it a century ago, and recently the 50-year plan and things like that.
Exactly.
They're very, yeah, when you're not the target, it's very funny, but when you're the target, it's quite difficult, I know.
Yeah.
Because then you have made that mistake and you're with Mohanji and all that. I remember one incident where I just slipped and fell near his car. The first question he asked me was, I hope you did not damage the car. So it's like that. He didn't ask me if I was hurt. And later he's telling me, oh, that's not a problem. Your ankle will be sorted. It's okay. But the first question, I hope you didn't damage the car. So that's the kind of humor he has.
Mm.
Okay. So now Amrita has a question. Yes, Amrita, please go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes,
Can you
Andrew.
unmute? Yeah.
Yes. Hanumanta, just a simple question. Maybe I don't know how to put it. You have been with Mohanji, you said right from 2010, right?
Mm.
Was there
Yeah.
any time during this period till today that you did something wrong and you were backfired by Mohanji? And in case if it was there, how did you take it? How did you feel?
Uh, Very bad. I just I fell into the trap of judging myself because this is my biggest trap in life, judging myself. And I felt guilt. I was judging myself. Mm, and it took me a really long time to get out of it. But actually, Mohanji is always teaching us how to be kind with everybody. And because I was in some positions where I was dealing with a lot of people, and not out of negativity or anything, but I can tend to be also at times strict when something is not getting done, for example. So I can be very direct with people, and say what I mean. And I had some instances when this happened, and Mohanji is teaching me through silence that I did something bad, that I did some mistake. So whenever he's withdrawing, I can feel it. It doesn't have to be physically. He can be at the end of the world, but I feel that he's withdrawn his energy. And whenever I feel he's withdrawn, then this is like I'm on a bed of fire. I cannot stand it because also this is my weakness. Um, I have this deep fear that I'm gonna be abandoned from people from that I love. So whenever he's withdrawing, even for a little, then I feel it, and then I feel that okay, there is something I'm doing that is not right at this moment. Let me analyze and let me correct it. So this is the way he's teaching me. And I very easily fall into the trap of judging myself and feeling guilty. But I'm trying to I'm trying to, correct myself as much as I can.
Your feelings, that sensation, that emotion really brought tears in my eyes. How much you have felt, it's really very touching answer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think we all go through it also, right? This feeling of abandonment, rejection, doubts. So many things come into the way, and that is when your heart contracts literally, and there's so much pain. And
Mm.
that, the way you expressed it, it really brought back memories. I'm sure all of us who are present here and who are listening would have had times when you feel either you're withdrawing or you feel Mohanji's connection is gone, or you feel there is some doubt coming in. It is
Mm.
there, but what matters is holding on. It's
Absolutely.
true. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Hanuman. So anyone else would like to ask any question? No? Okay, then in that case, you know what? All of us must get hold of his book and read. I have a copy. I've started reading, but others, please do. And I think you're writing another book also, isn't it?
For me, it's
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yes.
it's in
And
it's in the making.
it's
Let's
in
see
the
how many
making.
years I'm gonna take. This one took like 8 years.
We weren't aware. Suddenly the book came to the testimonials team. That's how I came to know about it.
Yeah,
It was
yeah. When
amazing reading it
when
even then.
Mohanji said write a book, then that was like 8 years ago. And then again he said write a book. Why don't you write a book? Because I was telling him some experience. And then the second time he said, why don't you write a book? And then he stopped saying anything. He never says anything twice, He just says once. And if you don't listen, then he's not gonna say it
That's,
twice. So, and
I
yeah,
know. He just
and
carries on.
yeah, and at the Kumbh Mela, when I saw that 10 people wrote books, and I'm like sitting with all my experiences, that was my initiation to finish off the book. Yeah.
Would you like to just quickly share any one experience which is too unforgettable? Something, a small one, short one,
Too unforgettable. Mm, unforgettable experience.
something it's been a big turning point in your life, or
Yeah, it's not a small one. I wrote in the book this
yes,
experience. It
there are
was like
most
in
of
the
them on the
beginning.
book, but something
Yeah,
you shorten.
it was in the beginning when um we were in Serbia in a retreat, and I decided I'm gonna leave Mohanji. It's over, because basically at the retreat, a lot of things came from inside of me, a lot of negative things. So I did not have a courage to see them and let them go. And then, of course, because Mohanji was the initiator of all these traumas to go up and to, go out, I thought, he is the he's the reason, so I'm gonna leave him. And we were driving. Actually, we were driving to my country to have a retreat, and I was like, "We're gonna have this retreat, and it's over. I'm gonna leave Mohanj." Like this was more than I don't know 10, 12 years ago, and we were Devi and Mohanji and me in the car, and Mohanji was sitting next to me, and he was not saying anything. He was like energy of a volcano, like fire. And Devi was in the back, and she started saying things like because she noticed that I'm really cold
Not
and
okay.
not in a good place. And then she started speaking some things that slowly woke me up, things like people leaving Mohanji because they found out that he's wearing a perfume like these stupid things, you know. And actually, Mohanji told me that you know, whatever is coming up, emotions, then in 2 days, whatever I was saying in my head, it's gonna be insignificant. But I was not believing him, you know. I thought this was it, and I'm leaving. But basically, in 2 days' time, I was not leaving him. Actually, I started meditations in my hometown, and everything exploded, you know. So basically, whenever you feel that it's a turning point and you want to leave a master like Mohanji, hold on. Always hold on. Because the mind is saying things today, in 2 days, it's gonna mean nothing. Most probably it's gonna mean nothing, you know? So just whenever you have this thought of leaving him, just be patient and don't make a decision now. You can say, okay, in 2 or 3 days, let me sleep over it and I will see. Okay.
Wow. Yes, that is so true, right? It's always better to give it time and not act on impulse based on the emotion. And I'm sure in that car drive, Mohanji would have known everything about you and you would have
Yeah,
completely rewired the whole thing because it happens. All those doubts creep in. Like Padmini has written here, Dark Night of the Soul. It is like that. For many of Mohanji's followers, it's happened.
yep.
That's amazing. I think Amrita has something to ask you and then
Yeah.
we will wind up.
Yeah, I would like to thank specially Hanumanta because today's takeaway from this session is two things that I'm going to work on is what you said was service, seva is sadhana. And the second one, what you spoke on procrastination and how things should be put in on timely, how to work on it. So these two things are my takeaway from you today. So thanks for that.
Thank you, Amrita. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amrita, for nicely putting it in a nutshell and two takeaways. So, and especially Hanumatananda, big hug to you. Thank you so much for being
Thank
with us
you.
and sharing. And we are all going to be
Thank
reading
you.
your book and getting back again with more questions. Maybe we can have you again some other time
Absolutely.
on
Absolutely.
our episodes. And thank you, everybody, for being here with us to listen to this. And those of you watching on YouTube, again, thank you. Thank you. A big thank you from all of you from the testimonials team and especially to Hanumatananda because he's got a meeting now in 5 minutes and in spite of that he just put this, he squeezed in time for us. So a big thank you, Hanubai.
Thank you.
Lots of
Thank
love
you
to
all.
you.
Thank
Jai
you. Thank you so
Mohanji.
much,
you.
Mohanji.
Jai Mohanji.
Thank you,
Jai
Hanubai.
Mohanji.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
Mohanji.
Jai
Thank
Mohanji.
you so much. It was really
Thank you.
inspiring.
very
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.